Good morning and welcome to the new session on AWS EC2 instance. Today we will do a deep dive on various AWS topics, and one of the topics that I'm going to talk to today is about hibernation of instances. So when we put instances, AWS EC2 instances in hibernation, basically they preserve the RAM. So whenever the instance wakes up or you start the instance again, the instance RAM will be available to the user so that they can process it or they can use it from there. So this is how it basically works. So this is what the hibernation is about. So the objective is to preserve the RAM, and when we come back to it, the data in the RAM is also loaded back. Another thing is that when we create a RAM, we should also ensure that the size of the RAM, the size of the memory, and the size of the disk should be enough to accommodate that RAM or save it physically. So for example, if your RAM is 10 GB and your hard disk is 10 GB, then you need a hard disk which is at least plus 10 GB, whatever your actual space is, because 10 GB may contain your operating system and other applications, and you need a system of 20 GB to accommodate the RAM onto the system. So it will specifically save it. And I also think there is a limit of 150 GB, that is the maximum RAM it can save onto the system, but please refer to AWS documentation to be precise and get the right information on this update. So clicking on launch instance, I'm going to create a AWS EC2, and it will be an EC2 from AWS. I will enable and use let's use the 3 micro only, and I'm going to select the key pair, which is my key pair, and I'm going to put it in public subnet. I'll enable the public IP. I'll choose the security group of my choice, which is this, and the size is 8 GB. 8 GB is enough for me because I don't have much to do in the RAM. The default one will be okay for me. And if you go to advanced details, at the bottom somewhere you will have an option which basically shows here hibernation of services. Yeah, so you can say enable hibernation. So it clearly says to make sure that the space that you want to store for the RAM, your root volume has got enough space to store the RAM content in addition to your expected usage. The root volume must be an encrypted volume as well. So you have to make sure that it has to be encrypted. It cannot be an unencrypted volume. So you can click on advanced over here, and you can click here, and you can enable the encryption. Now remember, this is a EBS volume. If you do not encrypt it at the time of creation, you will not be able to encrypt it later. So I'll launch the EC2 instance, and it should be with me soon. So I'll refresh it, and I'm just going to use the running one. This is the one, and this is the EC2 coming, and I'll open my shell to connect to the EC2 instance. So usually these AWS Linux machines are very fast in launching, and we will simply go here and click on AWS, or not AWS, it's SSH EC2-user, that is the username, @ public IP -I, and I have the key file with me in this, and I'm connected, and you can see that I'm connected to 192.168.0.90. So this is the IP address the machine is on. Let's go and check the uptime of the machine, and this machine has been up for 0 minutes. So we will enable the machine and we will wait for at least 1 minute so the machine is available, and while the time it is uptime, I'll just give you a refresh. That storage account here is, if we click on storage, which is here, it's a root volume, it's optimized, and remember, it is encrypted volume. So that is something that we wanted to be sure that the volume is encrypted. If you have not encrypted it, then your hibernation will not work. So we'll check the uptime again. So it's up for 1 minute now, and which is approximately, this is the load average. So this basically means the activity of your CPU in last 1 minute, 5 minutes, and 15 minutes. So that's beyond the scope of this course. We'll leave it here. We'll go to X state and we will hibernate the machine, and that's okay. Now the machine has gone into sleep mode, and you will see that the system will hibernate now, and it will disconnect from here, and you can exit if you want from the system. So just a thing that we have now created or enabled the hibernation, and if we go to all states, you will see that the machine is going to a stopping state, and we will wait for the machine to fully stop. Now, in addition to this, they will wait for this to be fully stopped. It is stopped. We'll right click and we will start the machine now. So the machine is starting, and the machine will very soon be a running machine, and we will ensure that the resource is up and running. So we'll go here, clear the screen, and we will try to connect to the machine again. Oh, the IP address is changed. Oh, sorry, I forgot about it. Control C over here, and we will just delete the IP address because these are dynamic IPs. These are not static, so they will change if the resource is shut down. And now it should connect, and I'm connected. So I'm back. My private IP address is the evidence that it is connected. Clear. And now if I say uptime, the machine is uptime since 3 minutes. So because it was in hibernation, the machine was never stopped or totally closed. It just went into an hibernation mode. So this is an example. We have checked now that we have identified that the machine was in hibernation mode and the machine was available for the users. At the end, as usual, please make sure you delete your resources so that you don't end up paying for them. Thanks for watching, and questions welcome.